Joining me now to discuss, Jillian Snider. She's a retired NYPD officer and an adjunct lecturer at John Jay College. Jillian, it's good to have you with us this morning. There's a lot of back and forth here when it comes to the masking of ICE agents, as you know, whether or not they're properly identified when they're going into some of these raids or making some of these arrests. You just heard from the acting director of ICE there. You've said there's a larger issue here, though, too, in many ways, of public trust. How so?
Good morning, Erica. So I understand the need to keep federal agents safe, and law enforcement goes out there every day and they put their lives on the line and they make arrests, but they also wear identifiable features. When you have agents or anyone that's representing law enforcement go out there and actually take an overt enforcement stance, they need to have something that's identifying them as law enforcement, because if not, the public just, the trust wanes, and then you don't have the amount of legitimacy within the institution of policing that we need.
To your point, as you point out, what we see from local officers, the Assistant Secretary for DHS, Tricia McLaughlin, had said that state and local restrictions would, quote, demonize, in her words, these agents. Does it in some way detract from the job that they're able to do if they are forced to show their faces, if they're forced to be properly identified?
I wouldn't think so. So there is a distinction, and what I'm hearing is these are officers who are going out and actually making arrests where they are taking people off the streets. They are not officers or agents that are acting in an undercover capacity. So those that are undercover, that aren't taking enforcement, those would have, they could wear anything that's non-identifiable, and that's to help them do their job, to help them infiltrate situations where they need the upper hand. And I get that. I worked as an undercover where I didn't want my presence or my capacity to be known. But when you are going out there and actually taking people off the street, putting people in handcuffs, taking them into custody, you have to have something on your clothing, outermost garment, that's identifying you as police. And more so, if you're arresting people, there should be some way to identify who you are.
What do you think is missing from this conversation?
A lot, but I understand there is a need. Like, what we are seeing is publicly needed. A lot of people agree we need to go out there. We need to remove violent people from the streets. Some of the people that are being removed from the streets pose a threat to public safety. No one disagrees with that, but there has to be a sense of legitimacy. There has to be a sense of trust, because the general public does not make it, they don't distinguish between federal agents and local law enforcement. So when you have federal agents going into jurisdictions, wearing masks, not letting their identity known, that hurts and hinders the operations of local law enforcement, because then that community fails to trust the local law enforcement that are trying to keep them safe.
There has been a significant amount of money in the big bill that, of course, was just signed into law by the president in terms of extra funding for ICE, extra money, $170 billion being allocated for immigration enforcement and border security. I know you have concerns about funding at the state and local level. Do you see at this point, 6 months in, that there is enough coordination between federal agents and state and local?
Right now, I'm nervous about, I love the big, beautiful bill in the terms that it's trying to emphasize public safety. But one of my fears is that it is not prioritizing local, municipal, and state cops. Those are the people that are answering 911 calls, going to routine calls for service, dealing with members of the public every day. So yes, do we have to fund federal agents? Do we have to fund our borders? Of course. But do we need to fund where the majority of crime happens? Absolutely.
Jillian Snider, really appreciate your perspective this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.